Hey everybody, today we're going to be talking about traumatic brain injuries. We're going to be talking about what is involved with the recovery process. We are going to get into some science, we're going to share some testimonials, and most importantly, I hope by doing this presentation, we're going to help people. So my name is Laura Zentmeyer. I'm a platinum executive of ASEA. ASEA is a biotech company that is a pioneering leader in cellular health, and we have brought to market a revolutionary product of redox signaling molecules. Redox signaling molecules are it's just so exciting. They're better than all natural. They are native to your body. Your mitochondria are making them every moment of the day. As you get older, you're making less and less and less. And they're so fundamental in the healing process that this explains why older people in general have more health challenges or take longer to recover. So what we have here, it's just a bioreplenishment. We have figured out how to stabilize these redox signaling molecules so that you can get them back into your system. And why are they so important? They are involved with cellular communication. They amplify, they clarify signals between and within your cells. So they're just talking to each other better. Kind of wakes up the inner doctor in your cells and makes them go like, "Ooh, there is a problem that we have to deal with." They are going to boost antioxidants. So glutathione, superoxide dismutase, they go way up. You don't have to be a germaphobe. What's so exciting to me is that they turn on genes, and the genes that they turn on are specifically going to empower your cardiac system to work better, also your inflammatory response, your immune system, your digestive system, and your hormone modulation. And what I really love is gene EGR1. That gets upregulated, and when that gets turned on, it's like throwing a master switch, and all these other great things start happening. So all these different pathways are associated with gene EGR1. And here they are. And the second one is specifically about brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF. BDNF, BDNF. What is it in the phonetic alphabet? It's Bravo, Delta, November, Foxtrot. The kid had to learn that when she was becoming a pilot. Anyway, Google it. Oh my goodness. It is so involved with all of these important processes for your brain and throughout your body. And if you Google it, you will see all these neurodegenerative issues that people will have because they have a deficiency in the BDNF. Imagine what it's like if you give your body some redox signaling molecules and then your body starts making that BDNF. So there's no BDNF in this. Nope. This just has the redox signaling molecules that it gets your reductants and oxidants in your body more in a balance and an equilibrium. I've got this book. It's called One Disease, Redox Imbalance. The premise is you have these reductants and oxidants. That's where we get the word redox from. It's a contraction of the words reductants and oxidants. If it's out of balance, that's when you get health challenges. And so anyway, you create more BDNF. All these great things happen. Let's talk about what is BDNF. It's going to help the brain in that it protects your neurons. It's going to help with neurogenesis, so the formation of brand new neurons, and then protects them so it helps them survive. And it's going to help with synaptic plasticity. So think of your brain as having this ever-evolving, remarkable roadmap, and there's a construction crew. And the construction crew is like the BDNF, and it's constantly working on the infrastructure of these roads in your brain so that you don't have traffic jams, so that the messages get through clearly. And that's going to help you learn better, remember better. In your hippocampus, that's kind of the memory vault in your brain, and the BDNF would sort of maintain the blueprints of your memories, so your memories stay intact. And also, it's so great for mood regulation. So it's going to influence the production of neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine. So think less stress, less anxiety. And then, what's good for the brain is good for your body, and vice versa. It has so much to do that just it extends beyond your brain. It's going to affect the energy regulation throughout your body. It has to do with your metabolism. They say it's the bodyguard for your pancreas. It has to do with insulin sensitivity. Think of a tapestry and pulling a string on the tapestry, and how you'll see how it's just all interconnected, kind of how your body is. It's just so interesting to me. So the BDNF, it's kind of like Miracle Grow for your brain. I think of it as like if you have more BDNF, it's like going to a health spa for your brain and having just a VIP pass. And again, what's good for your brain is going to be good for your body. Now let's get into some testimonials so you can see how this can really help people who have had a traumatic brain injury. Let me tell you about this wonderful woman named Danielle. So Danielle is a top executive at our company. She is amazing. In June of 2012, though, she was hit by a drunk driver. And frequently, when somebody has a brain injury, you might think in the beginning, oh, I'm okay, it's not so bad. But then it gets progressively worse and worse and worse. That's what happened with Danielle. Over the weeks, over the months, they were like, she was sleeping 20 hours a day. She had a lot of discomfort in her head. There was just a constant pounding. She would have to take naps all the time just to, she'd take her dog for a walk, have to take a nap. Speak on the phone with a friend for a little while, need a nap. Go to the grocery store, need a nap. Words escaped her. So she was saying how, she knew there was a building over there near the house and cars could park in there. She didn't know the word garage. It was really hard for her. She couldn't work. It's hard on the whole family. The mom, though, wow, I just admire her so much. Her name is Lynn. She's very proactive in trying to get help for her daughter. And she was immersed in the field of health. Her dad was a doctor. They had all sorts of resources, tried so many things, alternative things, standard things. Things just weren't getting much better for her. And after a year, Danielle's neurologist was just like, you need to accept this is just your new normal now. And thank goodness for her mom, Lynn, who's just like a mama bear. Like, don't tell a mama bear that her cub is limited in any way. She was going to find a solution. So it took another year, but she crossed paths with an acupuncturist who said, have you heard of ASEA? Have you heard of redox signaling molecules? Well, no, they hadn't. But so redox signaling molecules, we don't make any claims that this is a cure or treatment, but it empowers your cells to work better. Every health challenge involves cells. And she said, give it a try. And so Lynn goes home and talks to her daughter and says, this might be what we're looking for. And Danielle looks at it. She looks at the ingredients and she's just like, Mom, what is salt water going to do for a brain injury? So let's talk about the ingredients. The ingredients are water and a tiny, tiny bit of salt. This is not salt water. You can't make it in your kitchen. We've got 7 patents, over 1,000 trade secrets. It does start off as water and a tiny bit of salt. And then we had this atomic physicist, brilliant, brilliant man, spend a whole year figuring out how do you break apart saltwater molecules. And he wanted to start with salt water because that's what your mitochondria have access to. That's what they get to play with. That's what they get to build with. And so take some saltwater molecules, break them apart, get them in the different atoms. So you have hydrogen, oxygen, sodium chloride, rearrange those atoms, turn them into what your mitochondria make, redox signaling molecules. So I like the analogies that, you have diamonds and graphite. They're both 100% carbon atoms, but the way those atoms are arranged yields a different product. Another analogy I enjoy is think of buying a cake in a store. So when you see the cake and you look at the ingredients and it says like flour and water and sugar and eggs and whatever, it doesn't say cake. It has those ingredients that it starts with, but then it goes through a baking process and it turns into the cake. So we start with water and a little bit of salt. The magic isn't in the starting ingredients, the magic is in the baking process. It turns into redox signaling molecules. And so anyway, Danielle didn't know that, and she's just like, it's salt water. This is not going to help me, and your friend is involved in a scam. No, thank you, I'm not taking it. So Lynn has the product, and she's like, well, okay, I'm going to use it. So she had a health challenge herself. Her hands, she couldn't make fists. She had bone on bone in her fingers. It hurt a lot. She wasn't able to pull the covers up when she wanted to go to sleep. She couldn't do this. And so she was taking it, and it took about 6 weeks. But then the discomfort kind of went away, and she could make a fist. The discomfort didn't go completely away at that point, but she was making fists. And that piqued the interest of her husband, who had played football in college, and his knees had challenges. So he would wear braces when he would go running. So he's like, I'm going to try that stuff. Within 2 weeks, he could run without wearing knee braces, and they said he had the energy of a 30-year-old, and he was not 30 years old. So then they go back to Danielle, and they're like, Danielle, you really, really got to try this. And she's like, don't you understand? This is a placebo effect. I'm glad it's working for you, but your imagination is very powerful. This is salt water. No, thank you. And they were like, but what if? What if? Just ask yourself, what if it does work? There's a money back guarantee. You might as well try it. What if? And so Danielle starts to take it. She promised to do it for 6 months, and she was going to prove to her parents that it was not going to work. She just thought it was ridiculous. And so she takes it, and honestly, for the first 2 months, not a whole lot seems to be happening. But there's something that we should discuss. On the bottle, it suggests 4 ounces a day. That's really not what ASEA suggests. We are in so many different countries. I think right now we're in 37 different countries, soon to be more than 40. And it's simply because we have to get regulatory committees on a global scale to agree on a number. They agreed on the number 4. We have the science that shows that 6 ounces is really the sweet spot for about 80% of the population. For healthy people. If you have a health challenge, you might want more. It can't hurt you. It's completely non-toxic. Again, native to your body. And so she took it, but the 3rd month, she realized she wasn't so tired. And her parents were like, Danielle, don't you need a nap? She's like, well, no, actually, I don't. I've got lots of energy. I'm feeling good. And then fast forward, she is the most brilliant, well-spoken person. Unbelievable. And her boyfriend at the time, he was getting an advanced degree in biology, and he introduced Danielle to his advisor, and the advisor said, how in the world can this be so cheap? Some people think it's a little expensive. It's a little more than $1 per ounce. Oh my gosh, think of what it can do. For me, it's just so much cheaper to be healthy than not healthy. And that's what caught the attention of my husband. All these good things started happening when I had it. I had a health challenge for 9 years that involved abnormal cells, and that was gone in 2 months. My allergies were gone in 1 month. Don't need an EpiPen. I was on thyroid medication for 29 years. I don't need any medicine now. I had 5 knee operations. My knees are good. I can hike the New Hampshire mountains with ease. And anyway, that my husband thought was really nice. But what really piqued his interest was he asked me one day, he's like, how come you're not taking any money out of the health savings account anymore? I'm like, well, we don't need to. Don't need to go to the doctor. Don't need to visit the pharmacy. Don't need to go to the veterinarian. All of our animals are on this product, and they're ancient. And so anyway, that is Danielle's story and how she recovered. And then speaking of my husband, let's just talk about a little story involving him. But I was the one who had the brain injury. So my husband, oh my goodness, greatest guy ever. So glad that I am married to him. The love of my life. Really, really fun. But being married to him is kind of like being married to the Cat in the Hat at times. The whole package, yeah, it's a party to be with him. He is so fun, makes me laugh so much. But there's a lot of mess. There's a lot of chaos. And sometimes, in the story, the Cat in the Hat, the Cat in the Hat's creating all this fun and a whole lot of mayhem. And then there's the fish who's like, no, don't do that. Unfortunately, I feel like the fish sometimes. I'm like, that's a crazy idea. But I want to be a good sport. I want to play along. I want to participate in all this fun. And we won a trip to go to Puerto Rico thanks to ASEA. ASEA has all these wonderful opportunities to take these amazing trips. And so I won a trip for myself, my husband, one of my kids, her boyfriend. We all went down to Puerto Rico. And one day, my husband's like, let's go find all of the waterfalls in Puerto Rico. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. And so we're trudging through the forests and we're finding these waterfalls, but it goes beyond that. He's like, let's go stand under the waterfall. Let's dance under the waterfall. Okay, yeah, that was fun. Then he's like, let's walk down the river. Not alongside the river, let's walk in the river. It's slippery in the river. But I want to be a good sport, so I'm okay. Walking in the river, go maybe 20 yards, boom, I'm down. My head is on some big rock. I'm just laying there with seemingly no intention of getting up. But my husband gets me up. And I remember a few things from this experience. I remember him getting me up and I start crying really hard. But I thought that was interesting because I was not sad, but there I was being emotional. And then the next thought I had was, hey, I'm having these thoughts, but I can't say them. I didn't have any words. My words were gone. So I was thinking, I was putting it together. I'm like, okay, emotional, check. Language processing seems to not be working. Check, that's the temporal lobe. I must have hit my temporal lobe. So I could think all this, couldn't say it. And I just have memories a little bit. I remember him helping me through the forest to get back to the car. It was kind of like going through an obstacle course. I remember him putting the seatbelt on me when we got into the car. I don't remember the journey back to the hotel. I have no idea how he got me up to the hotel room. I do remember sitting on the bed in the hotel and him getting the ASEA in my mouth. Think of like this almost dead, dehydrated plant getting water and just coming back to life. That's what happened to me. I got my words back. Boy, did I have a lot to say to him. Anyway, I felt when I had this, I felt 98% better. I really felt like I was me again. It tasted so bad. Let's talk about the taste for a moment. The worse it tastes, the more you need it. The flavor of it and the intensity of the flavor is a direct reflection of how out of balance your reductants and oxidants are in your body. So if you have this equilibrium, this homeostasis of your reductants and oxidants, awesome. You are so healthy, it's going to taste like water. For most people, it tastes like swimming pool water. There's kind of a chlorine flavor. We see that there's a correlation with those people have a lot of inflammation throughout their body. We also have noticed that people who have infections, they seem to taste metal. People who have been exposed to black mold, they kind of have a metal flavor when they taste it. This is going to pull toxins out of you. So one woman was like, oh, there's ammonia in here. I'm like, no, there's no ammonia in there. But she grew up on a farm around pesticides. It was pulling all of that out of her. So it's great at detoxing. And so all I can say about the flavor that day, it was concussion flavor. It was just the worst I've ever experienced. But then as I got healthier, it tastes more like water. And anyway, I felt really good. I did have some moments within the next few weeks. I do remember my daughter graduated from college. I took everybody out to get manicures, pedicures. I was paying for it. And when it was time to calculate the tip, completely baffled. Didn't know how to do it. I went to an Ivy League institution. I know math. I know how to figure out tips. Couldn't do it. My brain was on vacation. I just handed my wallet to my kid. I said, "You do it." And she looked at me like, "What?" And she's like, "You must have really hit your head hard a few weeks ago." I'm like, "Yeah, I did." But ever since then, I think my brain is working pretty well. So those are my testimonials that I'm going to share with you. We have ASEA. It's a bioreplenishment, better than all natural, native to your cells. Helps with cellular communication. It's going to turn on those 5 genes. One of them is gene EGR1, which is going to help you make more BDNF, which is going to help your brain and your whole body. I hope this helps people. Thank you so much for listening. Cheers to your health.